What are the odds of this? In doing research about language and about the Old High German language and what Erhard Landman has taught and found out, I stumbled upon this article, and I found it's originally in French language, but I found it too in English. And when I saw this picture, I immediately was stunned because this writing here, this secret writing, reminded me to what my girlfriend and I invented as a secret writing for our secret communication. And later, when I was older, I used this writing in my diary, as I show you later. And it looks pretty similar, so that was for me kind of, yeah, just a aha moment that it looks so similar to what I created or whatever as secret writing. And then another thing I found interesting is that you can here read the word Truch says that's a noble word for, it's a word for noble, special noble. So, and this is here just mirrored. So that means all that is mirrored. Why? I don't know. That's was kind of interesting for me too. And so I will do more research surely about this picture. So now I'm showing you what my diary looked like. First of all, that was how it looked from the outside. Pretty nice in my opinion. Chinese silk. And then this was my invented secret writing. There's another one. For example, this one. So, and when we compare this with this secret writing, then you see some similarities. You can, for example, find this letter is down here. Here, and you can find this letter kind of here with a line, and can find this letter. Kind of like this one almost. This one looks kind of like this or like this. This one could be this one. This one is almost like this one. This one is kind of again like this one. That one and that one looks kind of old, but I did these. Yeah, I think that's the most similar parts. So yeah, what are the odds that it's looking almost similar? And now I want to read you this article. So it says Teutonic language of origins. We have seen how a secret language can hide in a common language. Xavier Seguin calls this language hidden the language of the gosling. It is the language of the mother goose. It also testifies to the original language, of which there are traces in the form of sounds in almost all languages. And I follow the trail of the Tedesque, or rather the Althochdeutsch. That means Old High German, nasty, cold. He's a little bit discriminating against Germans. Yes, it is scary, and that there are wonders to be discovered following this trail. Splendors that have nothing to do with pan-Germanism or Nazism, nor with its laughable airs. Laughable airs, yeah, he's really discriminating. The quest for Eden saga is the opposite, as you know. Althochdeutsch or Old High German can be translated as Old High German or Teut. It is the oldest written form of the German language, descended from the Indo-European Germanic families and all the rest. In short, from nowhere precise, according to specialists. So that's just the opposite. The word Teucius would have appeared for the first time in the Latinized form Theodiscus, the original meaning of which was popular or common. We are a long way from the elite, right? Let us know that the philosophical discipline devoted to the study of the divine is called theodicy, where close to Theodiscus. Theo comes from the Greek theos, God, and Theseus comes from the Greek dike, justice. This is what the little Robert tells us, but Landmann thinks otherwise. According to him, Theo or Theo comes not from Zeus nor from God, but from Theot or Theut, which means people. Discus is a sort of forerunner of Deutsch, German, or Dutch. De iscus comes from the iscas root suffix that is found in the ish of English or Irish, for example. In German, origin is Ur or Ursprung. The scholar Erhard Landmann sees a region inhabited by heaven from which the civilizing gods would have come. Ur would be the name of this region of heaven. Ur would be the origin. This word is decomposed into or, that is to say, the Latin translation of Ur, and gene, to approximate gene, genetic, origin, therefore means the genes of Ur, the original genetics. Ursprung is made of two words itself, Ur and Sprung. Sprung means the jump. Ursprung means jumping from the beginning. To find it in the sky, he proposes to look towards the constellation of Taurus, in Latin Taurus, in Taus Ur Us, in modern German da Ur aus, which means there, coming from Ur. So we all know this bull, the Taurus, and interesting enough is this two on the crest, for example, from the Scottish clan MacLeod, where, for example, Tom's mother is from, I guess. So anyway, what we find up there on Ur are the ancient astronauts or ancestors. In German, there are two words to designate ancestor. It's Ahn and Ur-Ahn. For the pronunciation of Ahn, one need only think of the patron saint of Brittany, Anne. It is derived from the Tuatha goddess Dan An. Le Breton takes up the language of Hyperborea, as you can see, all glue. Uranus in Greek, Uranus in Latin, or Ur-An-Aus in Tedesc. This translates our ancestors of Ur, out. That means out of the earth into heaven, or I would say just the other way around, out of the heaven into earth. It is not only the old High German who can adorn himself with the beautiful title of language of revelation. No, it works in other languages, Latin, French, Britain, Mayan, and in all languages, no doubt. It happens that the Althochdeutsch is a conservatory identical to, or almost the language of before Babel. This can be explained by the keen sense of discipline and the lack of imagination of the German people. The discrimination, I add, that's kind of stupid to say, which has literally respected the teachings of the alien initiators. But what matters is music, not the latter. Marc Loquin, mycologist, I don't know if I pronounced that right, of formation, was passionate, self-taught for the origin of languages and elaborated an original and personal theory on the proto-language, which he called archetypal language, has not met echo in the community of linguists or historians, and it is not in the dictionary biographical of the scientists of Georges Salentini. Well, look, the contrary would have stunned me. Wikipedia, always straight in its boots along the dominant line, tells us little more. Think this guy was a mycologist like the Comte de Champignon for science. A mushroom specialist does not have the right to be interested in language. And yet, in a stunning research, Loquin has dissected a few hundred living and dead languages to derive evidence. In all the languages of the world, he tells us, are the same elementary sounds. For Loquin, these are the fundamental bricks of language. These basic sounds are called phonemes and their number is limited. 20 fundamental phonemes are found in most dead and living languages. They are the archetypal phonemes because they have the same deep meaning whatever the language. This archetypal sense of origin is still present in the deep sense of the words. Because of their geographical extension, Homo erectus already spoke several hundred different languages 2 million years ago. 2 million years, bullshit. Lequin told us. According to him, it is unthinkable that the multiple tribes of this distant epoch could have spoken only one language. Why? If outwardly gifted beings had taught them a language, this primitive man kept it intact, since it came from the gods and allowed them to understand them. This language of origins would have remained intact almost for millions of years. She would have found herself as if by a miracle enshrined in the living conservatory of Tudesque, then modern German. Why not? Does this mean that God is German? Does this mean that the ancient astronauts spoke Toisk? Must we believe that when they return, for they will return, the terraformer gods will speak to us German? God im Himmel, that means God in heaven, so it's kind of, oh my goodness. Of course no, keep calm, the curse of Babel is not irreversible. All the singing paths lead to the golden tongue. All languages are daughters of this original language. They can all be deciphered according to the Landmann method or according to the language of the Oisans, Voisins. The result will be the same. Our languages speak only of us. They tell the true story of the human people, the epic of the fifth humanity, the incredible but true saga of Eden. And the Jesuits, that's my comment, did all suppress that, so that no one is anymore able or was able to even get a clue of this. But that's gonna change.